Hello, my friends. Jacob is here once again. I'm glad that you are all here. I don't know if you can hear me okay. Let me know in the live chat, but I'm going to sound the alarm. It's one of those shows. It's one of those shows. It's going to blow your mind. I'm happy that you're all here. Thank you. If you're new, this is probably not the best way to introduce myself, but I am Jacob Israel, and I am happy that you are all here. And we have quite a bit to get into. I got so freaked out putting this show together, I had to call my little ones. By little ones, I meant my 23-year-old and my 20-year-old. I said, come upstairs. I had to show them. I said, look at how this adds up. The timing. 666. This is such a great show. I'm very excited that you're here. Let's take a look at the thumbnail that probably is going to turn a lot of people away, but you're here and that's what's important. My goodness gracious. Welcome to hell, New York City. That's what happened back in June 6, 2023, 666. It's a time that we all talked about, and it's a time that is now upon us. I hope that everything is all right. I felt bad that we were running a little behind because I had some issues. Hopefully everything sounds okay. I got some things that I'm going to share that are going to really mess you up a little bit. Get you excited. I think it kind of setting the tone of what's coming. What's coming 2024. I created a little hashtag on the old X. If you don't know, you should follow me over there. Jacob Israel 71. Called If They Be Corrupt. Because a couple of years ago I said I wanted to use my faith and I wanted to shout out and I would say, you know what? Soon people are going to be brought to justice. Soon the truth is going to come out. Thank you, Lisa Gordon. Lisa Gordon said, sound great. Appreciate it. Yeah, I appreciate it. I need the help. I don't have a team. I got me. But what I do have is a great deal of, hope and faith that the things that I share are things that you all should, learn about. Because you're probably already hearing about all the interesting things that are happening. Probably heard about the judge that got attacked, right? That was fun, right? Poor thing. Here she is. Guy's asking for, he's a little, he's like, oh, please don't send me to jail. I feel like, I was told that I have a mental illness. I'm getting some therapy right now. And I don't want to go back to jail because the guy was already in jail. This is in Las Vegas, what happened. The guy jumped over and attacked this judge in the 18th district. But a lot of people aren't talking to you about how incredibly important this is. If it got my attention, and it probably got all your attention, we got a lot of people here already. Thank you very much. Hit the like so more people come. If it's going to get a lot of people's attention, there's got to be a reason for it, right? So what do? I go and I do digging. And turns out it's attached to a lot of other things. Like, it's connected to like a lot of other things, like the unsealed documents that came out today, like the day that we're in, like the earthquake that just went down in Japan, and how this is connected to the devil being unleashed for a short period of time. What a show! What a show! Didn't expect all of that, but you know what I did? I do what I always do. I mean, how do I come on here like a day and a half later and have all these things, sewn up together? I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know how this happens. It happens, and I get excited. Davina Weiss finally caught alive. I'm happy that you're here, Davina. This is a good thing. You catch alive. You know how you catch alive, by the way? All you got to do is you subscribe and you check the bell for notifications. You'd think that'd be enough? Probably not. Probably also should follow me on X. Probably also should follow me on Telegram, because what I'll do is I will announce it. I announce all these things on Patreon, all of these things, because you can't just rely on one site to tell everybody that, I'm going to be live with a show that is just I don't know how this happens all the time. I used to get these kind of like shows where I get excited maybe once every month or so. Now it's like literally every show that I'm doing, there is some deep, like prophetic meaning, and it's just beautiful. While everybody else is telling you how scary things are, I'm here to remind you that if you're a good person and you're kind, scary stuff is meant for the people that are bad. All of these weird events, it's going to prove to you. By the end of the show, it's going to prove to you that I'm not making up stories. I'm not making up stories. This is what I feel. I'm just a speculator. I could be wrong. But this is the way I feel. So in Nevada, there was a judge that was attacked by a defendant. And this was during sentencing. Now, the guy that attacked the judge was a 3-time felon, Rhonda Peterson. Guess who's the favorite meatball of Rhonda Peterson? I was just telling the Dan this last night, Rhonda. I was saying, every time I go on a show, I'm Rhonda Peterson's favorite meatball. Thank you for the super chat, by the way. And thank you all. If I miss you in a super chat, do me a favor and email me, and I will thank you properly. But I'm pretty good now. I see you all there in a live chat, and I see a lot of people probably haven't exactly X'd out of chat to hit the like, but that's all right. I know you'll do it now. I know you'll help me out. Diabra, I don't know how to pronounce this dude's name. Redden. Was 30 years old. He's a 3-time felon. He was in Clark County District Court Judges Mary Kay, like cosmetics. Think about that for a second. I wonder where I may be going. One of you know who you are, figured this out too, and I was very proud of them. Mary Kay Holthus. So during the sentencing, what happens is, this guy, Deborah Redding, he jumps up and he's like, F you, B-I-T. And he jumps over and he tackles, and then he ends up getting pummeled by, like 5-6 guys. But the weird thing is, you look at the guy's name. Of course, I got to look it up. And it's Deborah. Comes from Deborah, the Book of Judges. Deborah, the Book of Judges. Interesting story. It was when God was going to correct everything. And Deborah was like a prophetess. She was like what was called a judge over the time. People would go to her. She'd sit under a palm tree, People would come to her, tell us what we should do. Deborah was so like, this is how you should do this, and this is how you should do this. And they knew that there was going to be a change of the guard that was coming. Deborah knew at least. And so called in Barak. Barak was this dude who was in charge of we'll say like a new army, another army that was going to come in and take things over. But they were much smaller, and we didn't know how it was going to happen. But Deborah's like, this is what's going to happen. God's going to bring judgment, and but it's not going to be you, Barak, that gets the glory. I think the guy's name's Barak. I didn't really brush up on my Deborah story. I think this is in the book of Judges, I think, or Kings, one of them. And she says, a girl. Oh. When I said a girl, you know what happened? I got goosebumps. Because I know where this is going. And I know how it's connected. Oh, I'm getting the goosebumps on the neck. I should probably just get to it, right? This is probably what you're all here for. She says, a girl who's probably not looked upon as somebody who was really awesome. A girl's going to get the credit. Her name was Jael, who, probably was, maybe she would be somebody who maybe doesn't say that she's like sort of a harlot, but the story surrounding Jael makes it sound very much like she's a harlot. Here comes in, the top guy, the top general for the evil, wicked army that's, just keeping everybody under chains and under. It was like, how do you overthrow this? A little girl who probably spent some time doing some naughty things, probably didn't have a choice, probably was like a courtesan. She was the one puts the nail in the coffin. I really hope that you all stick with me. I really hope you don't get too lost in the chat, and I hope that you hit the like, because this is really I believe this is very important. So Deborah, the judge, says a girl's going to get the credit. What ends up happening is she's, out there and she sees Sisera, and he's like this evil dude. And she's like, come on in. I'll get you. Oh, I'll make you feel good. I'll make you feel good. She may have worked for people like Andrew Tate on the cam line or something, right? But yet God uses everybody, so let's not look down on people. But Jael was like, come on in, rest, right? And he's like, oh, I'm going to get lucky tonight. But Jael's like, I'm going to kill you because you're my enemy. I'm going to put the tent peg into you. That's what happens. She brings him in, lures him in, gets him all, worked up, gives him some nice, here, have some nice milk, warms it up so he falls asleep. She grabs a tent peg, she comes inside, and she goes, whoosh! Sisera, fat, nasty, gluttonous, horrible Sisera. Done. Done like this. Put that last peg in the coffin, that last nail in the coffin, a girl. And there's a list that was revealed today. Who's feeling it? Tell me in a live chat if you're feeling it. There's a list that was revealed. A lot of powerful people on this list. Looking real bad. Leaders of countries, judges, Congress members, stars, celebrities. This one young girl's bringing them all down. Actually, in fact, the news says nail in the coffin. But I'm getting ahead of myself. I find it strange that you got Deborah Redden jumping on and tearing down a judge, and you watch that flag fall too. Very strange. You know what Redden means? We've talked about red hair on the show, right? Who remembers that? Red hair is symbolic, right? Esau, the sound of Edom. These are things that I've talked about. I feel bad for people that are brand new, but if you just stick with me, you don't need to really know all this stuff. I'll get to it. Son of the red-haired. Son of the red-haired means these are the people that grew up under this red-headed system, this corrupt system. So incredible. Almost as incredible as Leslie with the super chat saying that she's almost done reading my book and that is so inspiring. My novel, which, by the way, ties into this show. Thank you, Leslie. Thank you. So, son of the red-haired. So you got this picture. You got this biblical picture. And who's she attacking? She's attacking Mary Kay. Mary Kay. Now, this is the best part. Good old Travis and his wife, who I love, who email me and reach out to me. I get a lot of emails, and I get a lot of people that support the channel that reach out to me and talk to me on a regular basis. And I got to tell you, I really appreciate it. Well, what ended up happening with this is Travis reached out and said, Jacob, my brother, this is the top left-hand side of the screen. I think I just figured out the trifecta. Deborah, the judge, took down a corrupt judge, while also taking down Mary Kay, which is the facade of people, and the flag all at once. I don't know, just a thought. You see that picture right underneath his little DM to me? Guess what that is? That's the flag that fell. That's the courtroom flag that fell. Who was it that hurt Mary Kay? Holthus? You know what Holthus means? Small wood house. Small house. When I saw this attack play out, I knew there's got to be something to it, because then I saw it trending and I saw a lot of people talking about it. I didn't think it was going to be connected to all the other stuff I'm going to get into, like King Charles possibly stepping down. Didn't think that was going to happen, but that just makes it even more interesting to me. The story of Deborah and Jael and Sisera and Barak is a story that you all should probably read in the book of Judges. But at the end of all of this, at the end of this brutal battle and this taking over, Deborah and Barak have this little beautiful duet. This is going somewhere. This is going somewhere. Now, here's what's weird, okay? See, when things like this happen, I think to myself, is there more? And if there's more, there's got to show me the reason, Lord. That's what I do. I go, I know there's got to be more. Just tell me what it is. And then I'll move away and I'll not think about it and I'll wait. And then I get an idea. What time did the attack start? And I go and I look. I look about in this courtroom. I look. It started at 9:11. Well, 11:09, to be fair. It wasn't 9:11. It was 11:09. It was actually 11:09:33, 9 minutes after 11, 33 seconds, when he said, F this, and he came in for the attack. Then, as he's being beaten and pulled off, the alarm goes off at 11:10, 111. Then the whole thing comes to its end, its final conclusion, at 11:11:11. And I said, that's coincidental. That's got to be very, very coincidental. That's got to be something that really is, well, it's got to be more than just coincidence, right? So I put this out not too long ago. I said, nobody find it particular that the attack starts at 11:09, 9/11. The alarm goes off at 11:10. There are the clips right there. You can actually take a look and see. It was very weird. Now, Redden, he's got a criminal record. He just got out of jail, okay, for domestic battery. That means that there was a domestic dispute. Could be him and his wife or him and his girlfriend or whatever got into a fight or whatever. The ins and the outs of the story we don't know, but I do know that there is more to every story. There are two sides. So he went to jail for domestic battery. He just got out. He's now brought in for the same thing, but he wasn't restrained. This was seemed like it was maybe just a really bad fight that it got out of control. And I don't know the ins and the outs of it, but I'm sure it'll come out. But this guy, he just got out of jail for something. And he now knows, because he went and he learned that, he's got an issue. He's got a problem. And he told this to the judge. He said, I feel like I shouldn't be sent to the prison because but if it's appropriate for you to do that, then just do it. Redden was heard telling the judge this a few minutes before he lunged at her. He says, I just figure, I'm in a better place now in my mind and my mental health. I have a support system. He was seeking therapy. The reason behind every single domestic violence is I've been dealing with mental health problems. I didn't even know I was dealing with it. So this is what what Redden says, Deborah. The lawyer asked the judge, look, he just got out of jail. Can we give him probation instead? When you go to jail for a period of time and you come out, that should be we've put that in the past. You shouldn't look at what he'd been through because he was punished, right? So supposedly in the eyes of the law, which is corrupt, I'm not saying it's not corrupt, but at least even in this corrupt system, if you pay the price, they should basically not really judge too much. They should judge off of your present events, but that's just my opinion. I could be wrong. But I'm thinking, why would this guy do such a thing on these, because he just got out of jail. He probably got into a fight. He probably got out of control. He probably does have a problem. Maybe he wasn't raised in the best environment. And what happens? Here he is back again. And he's pleading with the judge. He's like, please, Now, I'm not making a case for this guy. I don't know the ins and the outs of it. But I do know that he just got out of jail. And she could have said, you know what? You're seeking somebody now. You're in therapy right now. You've realized there's a problem. You've realized what the source of the problem is. Let's give you probation. She could have did that. She didn't do that. And I'm not justifying what he did, by the way. But I'm saying this is incredibly important when we're looking at this story through the eyes of what is, we'll say, godly and righteous. Do you know what his middle name is? His middle name is Dalan. And do you know what that means? A swamp creature. A creature, a being from the swamp. So bizarre, right? And, you know, when I saw this picture of him at 9/11/22, I thought to myself, well, what is that shirt that he's wearing? There's got to be something. I had a feeling. I have a feeling there's something to that shirt. But I didn't know. I couldn't tell. It was too blurry to me. I'm not, I'm funky fresh, but I'm not that funky fresh that I know a lot of stuff. So I had to ask people, and I said, can anyone tell me the shirt that the man being refused probation is wearing? The artist, the album, I had a feeling it was probably some kind of an artist. And I said, please help for today's show. I got a feeling. Answer will get a retweet and a follow, if not already. Turns out he's wearing the Notorious BIG. Oh, a lot of you that have been watching for a while are going to be excited about this. You're going to be excited about this. Notorious BIG. It was a picture of him counting money. It was a very famous picture. And you'll see the bottom of the screen, the right-hand screen. You'll see the person who was the very first person to say Notorious Big BIG. The Notorious BIG. So, you know, what was interesting was I said, isn't the Notorious BIG known as Biggie Smalls? Biggie Smalls. It's like an oxymoron. It's like jumbo shrimp. Biggie Smalls. I'm such a big guy, but you're really small. You see what I mean? So he's wearing a Biggie Smalls shirt where the guy's counting money, right? It's like a perfect picture of the son of the red hair, son of the system, son of those that are sold out to the system, which is what the guy's last name meant. You know what his last album was? Notorious B.I.G.? It was Life After Death. Interesting. Life After Death before he ended up being killed. Notorious B.I.G. Now, do you know the only time that the word notorious is found in Scripture? This is going to blow your mind. The only time is in reference to Barabbas. To Barabbas. Jesus Barabbas. This is what I said for a while. I said, this is what the people want. I said, this is what the people are going to get. Who do you want? Elon Musk walks into Twitter as he purchases it with a wash basin for his hands. Voice of the people is the voice of God, the regent sent down to look over all of social media. Who do you want? Do you want Jesus, the Christ, the Prince of Peace, the one who says to forgive and to love, the one that says don't point fingers at other people, the one that's going to sit and eat with the most vile human being in your eyes, if you go to church? Or do you want the revolutionary, the guy who says he's doing it on behalf of God, but he's going to kill everybody to get there? Give us Barabbas, they say. Give us that notorious one. In the scriptures, God's very clear. He says, look, if you want certain things, I'm going to give you certain things. If you're not going to follow me, I'm going to give you what you want. I'm going to make you puke on it. That's right. I'm going to make you puke on it. I'm going to make you sick with what you think you want. You want that? You want Barabbas? Well, guess what, everybody? You got Barabbas. We all got Barabbas for a while. Good news? It's going to really stink for a lot of bad people. But it's not going to be so bad for people that are kind. I've been saying this for a long time too, which is why my primary message to all of you is to love. Don't condemn. Don't tear down. Don't attack. Don't fight. Forgive. Doesn't mean you got to forget. This is the only way you're going to get through this. It's going to get really ugly. I have a feeling. Like maybe for like almost 1,000 years. Maybe. I don't know. Could be around that long. Back in Jacob's day, when he was in the Bible, when he had all of his children, you know, it wasn't until he was older and later in life that the terrible famine hit, where like the whole world was like it was like the worst ever. But you remember Joseph was the one that saved everybody. Interesting. Because sometimes I get a little kick out of the story of Jacob from the Bible and my story. I just think it's interesting because I have all these wonderful children, and I think of the story of Jacob and his children, and I think of the day that they're in. And I of course hope and pray that my children will somehow carry on and do what I'm doing in the world. And this 9/11 thing is just very strange to me because somebody in my last show pointed out the fact that I talked to all of you and I said, oh yeah, my son Ethan, the last time someone asked me if I experienced an earthquake. And I said, oh, the last time I experienced an earthquake was when my son Ethan was born. It was when it was in Virginia. Somebody left a comment and said that was 9 years and 11 months ago. And I was like, because my daughter Shiloh was born on 9/11. 2 years later, to the second that plane was hit, 9/11. My daughter, I didn't think that Ethan would be somehow connected to a 9/11. Never thought to think about Noah. These are my 3 biological children. I have 4 children because my wife and I got married and we became a blended family. I had full-time custody and she had full-time custody, and I consider her son my son, and vice versa. We love our family. We're lucky. We're blessed. So I think, wow, that's interesting. 119 months and 11 days. 9, 11, and 11. So then I look up Noah, because Noah is, of course, my oldest. And he's exactly 11 months and 7 days. And in the book of Genesis, Noah, well, the flood starts Genesis 7 and 11. And the Tower of Babel is 11 and 7. It's just interesting how 9/11 is such a thing. Now, this is going to, I'm not encouraging drinking. But as I'm going through all of this and I'm having my little Pinot Noir, which, because I try to I have this, I'm not supporting it, but it's called Life Vine. I just had this weird vibe when I was having a glass. As I was putting the show together, I said, I wonder if the calories are like 9/11 or like, and they are. They're like, I don't know if you can see, but they're here, let's take a look. Look at that, 119. It's weird, right? It's weird. But in a second, it's going to make a lot of sense because I think it's all connected. And I want to remind you, they called Jesus a drunk, okay? I don't drink that often, just so you know. But this is strange because, of course, Biggie Smalls, the Notorious BIG, the oxymoron, he's connected to, of course, P. Diddy. You know him? Puff Daddy? Him? Guy who just settled for I don't know, it was almost maybe a ridiculous amount of money, millions and millions of dollars, because he was charged with the worst type of thing that you could do to a member of the opposite sex. And there's so many stories and so many rumors coming out about him. Bad boy. Shouldn't that be the, when you label your company bad boy? Shouldn't that tell a person something? Look, I'm God's champion. That should tell you this is what my hopes and my aspirations are. And by the way, you can do the same. And you know who else is doing that? Cat Williams. Who's trending today on Twitter. Cat Williams. He's a comedian. He's been very vocal about Michael Jackson, R. Kelly, and all these people and all the things that they've done, which he said long before the news broke about how corrupt and how wicked and how perverse these people are. Cat Williams. Who here has got love for Cat Williams standing up and saying, it's now God's champions against the enemies. That's the day we're in. This is what I've been saying. I get so excited. You know who's connected also in this mess with the bad boy entertainment? T.D. Jakes. You know him? I know him because, I worked in Christian TV, even though I don't consider myself to be a Christian or a Jew or a Muslim. I'm just a man that loves God. Jacob, Abraham, and Isaac, they all had relationship with God. They had a covenant. They have no religion. I don't want any religion. They were inside the courtroom at 9/11. The fight went down at 11:09. 1-1-1 and then 1-1-1-1. It's just a little much. So you got T.D. Jakes, who is, by the way, Oprah's homeboy. I think is that what the cool kids call people that are like, hip and down? It's like, is that, I don't even know what I'm talking about. But he's being accused of some pretty horrid stuff, this guy. He's a power bottom. Whatever that means. I know what it means. I'm just not going to tell you. It's a mess. It's a mess. But I'll tell you, he released a statement. And in his statement, it said, let me see if I can read this to you, that there were like deep fakes. Let's see. Hang on a second. Let me see. I'll read this to you. Statement from Jakes' ministry reads, recent claims circulating on pockets of social media about Bishop T.D. Jakes are unequivocally false and baseless. And then it continued, it's heartening to witness the proliferation of numerous deep fake photos and distortion of words through false, sensationalized misrepresentations, encapsulating purported statements to falsely speculate and attack others, including Bishop Jakes. Who wrote this? With all of those trying to sound smart words, who wrote it? I don't even think they know what they were saying there. It's heartening to witness that. Heartening means it's encouraging. So you're basically saying it's encouraging to witness the proliferation of numerous deep fakes. It's not encouraging. And I don't even think there's some deep fakes going around. I didn't even hear about this. Are they doing like, they think that photos are going to be released next? Is that what it is? Oh, that's the best way to cover your butt, right? There are no deep fakes out there. Nobody heard about it. You should tell everybody. We're so encouraged that we've heard that there's so many deep fakes. It's heartening. You meant disheartening, you weirdos, whoever wrote that. But his wife is still on his side. And hopefully all of this is just baloney, right? We want these people to be good and kind and wonderful. But I'm telling you, T.D. Jakes and I don't believe in the same God. My God and T.D. Jakes' God, they're not the same. I'm telling you this. This is why I don't have a church. I could have a church. I could. I know I could. This is the reason why I don't do this. This is the reason why I put on a meatball hat and everything else. I just want to, I just want to do what I'm doing. These people, they make all this money and they're so corrupt. That's what it looks like to me. So there's that weird coincidence. Cat calling down fire from heaven on Mr. Diddy. Mr. Diddy Diddly Doo. The bad boy. He just, you know what? Let's take a look. Let me see. I'm going to probably play it a little bit faster. I don't want to get hit with any kind of a I think you could do that, right? Hope I don't mess things up here. Let's put it a little faster. I think I did that. Did I do it? Yes, I did. All right. And let's Just take a listen. Now, take a wild, guess. What's the center of his necklace? Which, by the way, looks like a wheel that would be found on a ship. It says woke. I don't know what the other thing says. Maybe it says woke or floke or broke, woke, broke. I don't know. But that's definitely the steering wheel of a ship. And here you got cat. Cat. Meow. Cat. Take a listen.
When I talked about R. Kelly, they canceled me for these things because why would you talk about another black dude? Race is not where the line is drawn. It's God's side and the other side. And we don't care nothing about the other side. Period. All of these big deviants is all catching hell in 2024. It's up for all of them. It don't matter if you Diddy or whoever you is. TG Jakes, any of them. All lies will be exposed. That's all. And anyone who takes that the wrong way, know why they take it the wrong way. The truth is the light. I can't.
Did you hear that? Who is it? He sounds pretty confident, don't he? He sounds confident. Lisa Gordon, do you think he sounds confident? I think he sounds confident. He sounds confident that it's going to be God's people and it's going to be the people of the world. This is something I've been saying for a long time. Janet Roof wants to know who's your daddy. People should want to know who's the daddy. Who created us? Where did this come from? The cat. Which, as I'm sharing this on X, I'm reminded that I found some really interesting video that an influencer on X named Biff Tannen shared about how cats, house cats, how they are very different from lions and tigers and everything else, and they're very much like snakes because they hiss. And I just thought, that's interesting. Here I am thinking about cat, and then I remember I put something out about catcoms. I said catcoms because it was a joke, because a lot of people were talking about cats. People magazine was all about the person of the year, Taylor Swift, and guess what Taylor Swift's got on? A cat. It's all about the cats. Even her boyfriend, her beau, the NFL graphic. He had a bunch of Taylor's cats in his hand. Cats everywhere you look. Strange to me. Elon pointing out just a little bit, the day later after I put out my catcom. That's, by the way, if you look in the middle of the screen, you probably can barely make out Cosmo, but that's my beautiful cat Cosmo, who I love so much, who came to us very sick and very bald and is now sitting on top of the fish, waiting to snatch it. But you can see very clearly, there you have Taylor Swift with the kitty cats. You got Elon Musk sharing stuff out about the cats. Cats everywhere you go. And then you had Biff Don, who I was talking about, Biff Tannen, who's obsessed with the fact that cats may be connected to snakes. And then I wrote cats eat rats. And a cat got their tail. And my Cosmo on the catcom had a little more story to tell. House cats, they got different eyes. That's no joke. The Dan always says about Cosmo, Cosmo's like a panther, baby panther. And I always just think the same thing, because you look at Cosmo and you think baby panther, but they got totally different eyes. They got totally different eyes. Like a cat hisses, but a lion roars. In Egypt, you would often see cats also symbolized and presented like snakes. Bottom left-hand corner, you see a picture of Lilith from that game Diablo holding a cat. So I think to myself, I wonder if the cats are in Scripture. Because I know the lion is. Of course, I know that, I know a lot of animals are in Scripture. We talk about that here on the show. We've talked about that quite a bit. But what about like house cats? And I found there was only one passage, which is strange to me. Strange to me. You would think that there'd probably be more, but there's only one, and it's from the book of Isaiah. This is where the show gets really freaky. The book in Isaiah. If this doesn't directly correlate to the day that we're in, I don't know what does. But not just that. Like Elon and like Gamer J on X, Gamer J, you should check him out. He live streams. He posts great, encouraging stuff. Nice guy. I've DM'd him too. And I guess Elon and him are very, they encourage each other when they're battling the evil that is found in this game, Diablo. Diablo is like the game, and he live streams. Elon, he live streams him playing that as well as Gamer J. They both do this. I've talked about Lilith on the show numerous times. I talk about how she is like the Queen of the South, and that it's written in Scripture that in the end days, the Queen of the South will rise up with this generation and will judge this generation. It's going to make things bad for people. It's going to make things tough. There's a whole new legal system that's coming. Don't you see? That's what the whole thing with the flag falling meant. The son of the red man going to come in. It's going to get so out of control that they're going to need a new legal system. My opinion, once again. It's also in my novel. I wrote about this years ago so that when it happened, it would be kind of a proof of sorts that there is a God. And that, our faith has some say in how things turn out. So let me read this to you. Wild cats and hyenas will hunt together. Demons and devils through the night. The night demon Lilith, the lead character of Diablo. Lilith, evil, rapacious. I think I pronounced it right. They will establish permanent quarters. Judgment. Corrupt, wicked people, they need corrupt judges. Or I should say judges that don't care. I should say judges that are, you either do it their way or it's going to be a hard way. In the book of Revelation, it talks about how after 1,000 years, the devil is released. He's set forth in the world. It's like a final testing, a final battle. But there's a second Passover that happens, and we're all given a mark. If you're serving God, it's called the Tav. It's the 22 that we talk about all the time. But those that don't have that mark, they're in for some trouble. Can I tell you something? If you're watching this show and you actually enjoy it, you're going to be good. You're going to be better than good. Remember that. The better than good doesn't mean that everything's going to be the same. It just means you're going to be okay and better for it in the end. Trust me. Love is the answer. It's the only way forward. It is. Now, I got to thinking about a show that I did back in 2022 on March 9th. And guess what that show was about? It was about Satan being loosed after 1,000 years for a short period of time. Now, this was called the Japanese Killing Stone. The Japanese Killing Stone. Japan. What happened on New Year's with Japan? Anybody remember? Huge accentuation to the new year. This is the way the year is going to start. Right there in Japan. Ishikawa. Cause and effect. That's what it means. The Ishikawa on the day when everybody was going to all their temples and to ask for good luck for the year, here's your luck, God says. 7.5 or 7.6 earthquake. Here's weird. Somebody in the show that I was doing when I was talking about this pointed out, why has Japan got it so bad? That thing that I saw in the live chat, I thought about it. And then like this little voice, right? Like this little idea popped up. What about that killing stone in Japan? Wouldn't it be interesting if there was some kind of a connection? Like what if there was like some kind of a connection between Lilith and the fact that welcome to hell, New York on June 6, 2023, 666. What if there was a connection to Japan's earthquake and that killing stone opening up after 1,000 years, releasing what they call the nine-tailed fox demon, which brings a judgment on the earth. Different culture, same story. Devil being released for a little bit of time. Gonna jack things up. And if they be corrupt, they're gonna be, ooh, it's gonna be bad. So I get this idea, I bet you there's some kind of a connection. Guess how many days in between? That from happening and the earthquake. 666 days. I didn't know this. This is as I'm putting stuff together and I get this idea. I wonder if. Now I'm trying to share this with all of you. On X, by the way. I'm doing this. Trying to get you all to look deeper. I want you all to start hearing from God yourself. Because God says very clearly through the mouth of Jesus that if you could tell the signs how the weather's going to be, you could also tell the signs if you could listen to that still, small voice. But you got to start trusting your intuition. Intuition is going to be so important in the coming days. If you have a good heart and you're a good person and you get a vibe you shouldn't do something, don't do it. Pray about it. If you're concerned that maybe you're, being a goofball, show me another sign so I know. We need to rely on more than our own self-effort right now. Everything that we know is changing. We're going to see the legal system, in my opinion, once again, this is speculation, I don't know for sure. We're going to see, I believe, huge change, huge reform. Trump says when he comes in, he wants to put to death anybody who sells drugs. He's going to put to death anybody who's connected to that list type of stuff. It's going to be swift. He wants to speed up things. Judgment. It's in my book. Actually, even Biff Tannen. This is kind of interesting. I don't know. Let me show you his page because I really do like his stuff. Just taking a look right here. You see right here, he says, all you were meant to see the flag falling. It symbolizes the collapse, I would say, of the legal system. He said USA. And thank you for reposting, Biff. He reposted my in honor of Cat Williams trending and then the cat comms. Did you see this, by the way? Let's mute this. Make sure that this has no, this is interesting. How this is the Twin Pines Mall. This is from the movie Back to the Future. And what are we looking at? Upside down, 9/11, right? How funny. And it's interesting because I had no plans on sharing this until I was putting this together and I was thinking about the 9/11. And then I went over to Biff's page and he just happened to have this up. It predicts it, he says. There you go. And then take a look at the Twin Pines Mall. There's an attack. What kind of terrorists? The twins. On 9/11, twins. Isn't that strange? What does that tell you? And then we go a little bit further. Let's go a little bit further and let's take a look. So no more twins. Now there's one, right? So now in the next movie, I believe, oh, hello, what is going on? And in the next movie, what ends up happening? They're pointing to the two twins. There's more there. You should go to his page if you want to watch it. But then they get rid of the twins in the last movie, I believe. Hang on, let me see if it comes up. There you go. There's the guy who basically is Donald Trump. That's what the character was based on. And then in the remake of the movie, there's no more twin pines. It's gone. It's gone. So here he is also sharing a lot about cats, right? Cat people. I just found all of this to be incredibly strange, that the timing of all of it. Oh, by the way, yeah, David Copperfield, right? David Copperfield. I just put that together. He's on that list. Yeah. And I actually wrote about that. I said, hey, let's see how you try to make that disappear, David Copperfield. God, these people. If they be corrupt, I said it was 2024. I said this was the year. This was the year. And what are the odds that the Japanese killing stone, 666 days. Now, we're not done yet. So if you haven't hit the like yet, do me a favor, please. And if you stuck with me, I appreciate it. This is where it gets really, really interesting. We're going to have a lot of fun with this last part. Oh, because it's going to really kind of like just get in your face and kind of just show you without a shadow of a doubt the day that we're in. The day that we're in. Oh my goodness. Let me read some of this to you. This is Isaiah 34. Okay, the whole chapter, I kind of just, I stuck with the things that I thought were essential to share. Okay? Now, just listen to what Isaiah says. In God's scheduled time for vengeance. Vengeance! What do you mean? You telling me, Jacob, you telling me vengeance is coming? I'm telling you vengeance is coming. They call him Batman. Edom, who, by the way, is the red-haired older brother of Jacob. Edom, which is the redhead stepchild. The sound of Edom, which we've talked about. It's a symbol of carnality. Edom's streams, they will begin to flow sluggishly. They're thick with pollution. Their soil is sterile, poisoned with waste. Weird things that they're shooting in the sky from planes. It's making people sick. I added that part. But the day that we're in, everything's polluted. Everything's a mess. Edoms. Their days, their judgment has come. Sound of Edom, right? Sound of freedom. The whole country, a smoking, stinking garbage dump. The fires are burning day and night. The skies are black with endless smoke. January, February, March, April. All of this stuff, no matter what month it is. Generation after generation of wasteland. No more travelers through this country. We got to shut the border down. You think that's weird? Vultures and skunks will police the streets. Owls and crows. You know Kanye's album, Vultures, delayed for a third time, coming out on January 12th. Someone's saying there's 911 likes. Boom. That is pretty amazing. I wish there were a lot more because there's a lot more people watching, but that is incredibly timely and cool. and a confirmation. Take a look at Drake's owl. Take a look at Kanye's vulture. Vultures and skunks police the streets. Owls and crows will feel at home. God will reverse creation. Chaos. He will cancel fertility. What's Elon going on about all the time? Population collapse? You think God's put up with this? God's put up with this. It's like he finishes his creation in victory. People are going to come one way or another. It looks like most of them are going to come kicking and screaming. You know, it's good news for the people that are like a little smart. You're going to get there ahead of time. But the Apostle Paul reminds us that don't think that you're going to get there ahead of anybody else. Like, we're all in this together. You know, you're all my brothers and sisters, even if you don't believe what I'm saying. God's going to reverse the creation, chaos. He's going to cancel fertility. Canceled. Emptiness. Leaders will have no one to lead. That's actually a big deal right now. Like right now, they're very concerned because a lot of people in government are on this list that's coming out. Who's going to lead? Who's going to take care of these things? Who's going to help all of us out? They'll name no kingdom there. A country where all kings and princes are unemployed. Wait a minute. Are you telling me that kings are going to step down? Hang on a second. Let me read that one more time. I just want to make sure that I'm on this. Leaders will have no one to lead. They'll have no kingdom there. A country where all kings and princes are unemployed. Unemployed. Wild dogs will prowl the ruins. Ostriches will have run of the place. Wild cats and hyenas will hunt together. Demons and devils dance through the night. The night demon Lilith will establish permanent quarters. And you got Lilith. Hottest thing on X. Poster still up in New York City, Times Square. Scavenging carrion birds are going to breed and they're going to brood. Infestations of ominous evil. It's going to get so bad. Get and read God's book. None of this is going away, people. This breeding, this brooding evil that is upon the land, God has personally commanded all of it. His Spirit set all of it in motion. God has assigned them in their place. He's decreed their fate in detail. This is permanent. Generation after generation until you get it right. We're in such a weird day. And this list has 100% gotten a lot of people thinking. There are kings stepping down. The Queen of Denmark just stepped down. There's rumors now that the King of England is stepping down. 2023, I told you, was going to be the year where the reversal starts. 2024, that's the reckoning. That's what happens. And we got the news right now that King Charles, he may be abdicating his throne. But that's for my next show, which I hope that all of you pay attention to. But I want to read something to you in my novel. This is a dream that Thomas has, the lead character. And I I want to kind of point out how incredibly interesting the timing of all of this is, because of course in the book it kind of starts off about September 2022, but this is a story of Thomas when he was much younger, based on kind of my life a little bit. But in this scene, there is a one world government, and there is a leader who is very much like a dragon, who is known as the salesman of all salesmen, a powerful individual who had towers and buildings everywhere erected in his name alone, whose most trusted advisor is a 30-something, really good-looking blonde named Ivana, whatever her name is. But that's not in the book. But I think that that's her. I have a feeling. And this is kind of a nightmare that the lead character has. But listen to what I'm going to read, because this is pretty interesting. The Book of Thomas James, that's the name of the novel. By the way, you can get it on Amazon, and it's an important book. You should really read it. It's really great. My book, which they burn before me, is not a work of fiction, as some will say. It's a fiery truth cast into the sea of deception mankind calls life. I speak not of revolution in the world, but of a revolutionized thinking. Me too, by the way. This is my calling. This is my purpose, and my tears are for those who may call me traitor. I remember how things were. The world is not what it once was. The courts changed when the leader gathered the nations into one. The accused could no longer speak on their defense. Men who never knew me chose my fate. Things I said openly were twisted. People who once loved me claimed they never did. And everything I stand for, they call a lie. That's like the nightmare that I've had for a long time that I put in the novel. The court's changing. Swift judgment. But it's just a nightmare. Doesn't mean it's true. But I do find it interesting. Because you see that guy jumping over that? You see how it's all connected to everything. There's something to it. All right, listen, I got to get out of here. You know the deal. TrulyFreeHome.com. That is my sponsor. Their promotion is running out. So if you have a dishwasher and you want to, clean your dishes with something that's going to be good for you, beneficial and less expensive, get 50 loads for $5. There's a link in the description below. If you want to get any of the merch, like Kat says, it's going to be God's people against the bad people, whatever. Don't look at it that way. Because that's not the way you want to look at it. You want to look at it as we're here to lift everybody up and help everybody out. You want to get that God's champion? It's in the description of the video. Just go in, you click more, you go down, you scroll, you have you'll see a bunch of links. You just click on them. I love all of you. I'm so glad that you're all here. I hope that this was a good show. Once again, my voice is shot. But I gotta tell you, I get excited. What are the odds that Killing Stone opening up 666 days, and then boom, the earthquake happens on New Year's. That's something else. All right. Love you all. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.